Welcome back to Le Podcast de Philippe. This time, we're going deep on no-code tools, specifically Lovable, Bolt.new, and N8N. We'll compare features and pricing and look at some real-world examples, all to help you pick the right one for your next project. We've got articles, user testimonials, even a YouTube tutorial with Bolt.new in action. So let's jump right in.
Each of these tools has a slightly different take on no code, right? Lovable, for instance, it uses this plain language system, which is totally different from Bolt.new's AI drag and drop interface.
Right, it's not just about being no-code, but how they make that experience intuitive and powerful.
Yeah.
For someone brand new to this, Bolt.new seems super user-friendly, especially after seeing that YouTube tutorial replicating a website in under an hour.
That speed is wild. But our sources say Bolt.new uses AI to kind of predict your next design move. It's like having a design partner suggesting layouts and stuff.
Fascinating. So it's more than just drag and drop. There's serious AI going on. But gotta wonder about the trade-offs. Do you sacrifice functionality or flexibility for that speed boost?
Great question. Bolt.new is awesome for getting started quickly, but it gets a bit tricky with multi-page complex projects. Even that YouTuber, he switched to another tool, Cursor, for editing. So redeploying in Bolt.new might not be as straightforward.
Ah, makes sense. Seamless redeployment is so crucial, especially for frequent updates or team projects. How does Lovable compare on that front?
Lovable takes a longer-term view. It prioritizes those strong backend connections, and redeployment is smooth, especially for team projects because of its GitHub integration.
So if you're building something that'll evolve with multiple people involved, Lovable sounds like a strong contender. Now, what about N8N? We haven't touched on it much. It seems to be in a different category altogether, more focused on that behind-the-scenes automation.
Absolutely. NEN is all about connecting different apps and services, creating these powerful automated workflows. You're not building user interfaces, you're setting up the logic in the background.
So instead of drag and drop, it's this node-based system, right?
Mhm.
What does that even mean for someone who's not familiar with that?
So picture each node as a building block. It represents an action or a connection to an app. You visually link these nodes to create the workflow. Like one node might be get new email from Gmail. Another could be add user to spreadsheet. And you connect them, boom, that whole process is automated.
Okay, I can see it now. Sounds powerful, but I imagine there's a learning curve to mastering that node stuff.
There is, definitely for non-programmers. But N8N has tons of pre-built nodes and integrations. It's surprisingly approachable. Plus, their community is super active, tons of resources and help.
That's good to know. Community support is a game changer when learning a new tool, especially a more technical one. Now, I'm curious about the look of the apps these tools produce.
Bolt.new is all about those sleek, modern-looking apps right out of the box. Remember that YouTuber recreating the website? He was impressed with how it looked.
Right, it felt very current. What about Lovable? How does it compare visually?
Lovable might need a bit more tweaking to get that super modern look, but it can definitely do it. The focus is more on building solid, functional apps, especially full-stack ones.
So Bold.new might have an edge if you want that trendy look right away.
Yeah.
Now, NAN, since it's not about building user interfaces, I assume modern design isn't a top priority.
You got it. N8N is all about functionality and automation. You're usually not building things users see, so the visual stuff takes a backseat.
Makes sense. Okay, let's switch gears to a crucial part for anyone launching a no-code project. Deployment and redeployment. This is where things get tricky, even with no code.
Totally agree. Deployment is where we see some clear strengths and weaknesses. Bolt.new makes that initial deployment super easy, almost magical. But redeploying, that's where the challenges come in.
Yeah, in that tutorial, the creator hit some snags updating and redeploying his website. He actually switched tools for that part.
Exactly. Bolt.new is great for getting started, but the sources hint that you might need a bit more technical knowledge for updates, especially with bigger projects.
So it's awesome for prototypes and initial builds, but maybe not ideal for things that need frequent changes and redeployments.
That's a key takeaway. Lovable, though, it excels here. Seamless GitHub integration makes version control and collaboration easy. And redeployment is smooth, no headaches. It's like they built Lovable with the whole project lifecycle in mind, not just that initial build phase.
Right. It seems they really thought about the challenges as a project grows. What about N8N? How's deployment work with automation?
N8N is flexible with deployment. Since it's open source, you can self-host it on your own servers. Total control over your environment. But they also offer cloud-based hosting if you prefer a hands-off approach.
So it works for both techie users who want control and those who want the convenience of a managed solution. That's pretty cool. Now, ease of use and deployment are key, especially for non-programmers. But I think we should also consider how these tools handle security and scaling. What starts small could grow really fast.
Absolutely. Scalability and security are so important, especially if you're dealing with sensitive data or expecting lots of users. Bolt.new, with its focus on simplicity and speed, might not be the best fit for enterprise-grade security or handling massive data.
So it's great to get things going quickly, but maybe not the best long-term solution if you need rapid scaling or high security.
Yeah, that's a good point. Lovable, on the other hand, with its focus on robust, full-stack applications, it's more mindful of security and scaling from the start. They use modern security protocols, and their infrastructure is built to handle growth. Plus, that GitHub integration adds the security of a well-established platform.
Makes sense. It seems Lovable has a more comprehensive approach, thinking about both ease of development and the long-term stability and security. Now, how about AN? Are security and scaling big factors for automation workflows?
They can be, definitely, depending on the complexity and how sensitive the workflows are. With ANN, since you can self-host, you have a lot of control over security. You pick your server environment, set your own protocols, really lock things down.
So you gives that flexibility for those who need it, which is great. Okay, we've talked features, deployment, security, scaling. Now, the big question, cost. How much will this set me back?
Pricing is always key when choosing a tool. Let's start with Bolt.new. They have a token-based system. You get some free tokens to begin with, and as you use the tool, you buy more.
So it's like a pay-as-you-go model. Could be good for smaller projects or if you're just starting out.
Exactly. It's flexible, especially if you're not sure how much you'll use it. Now, Lovable uses a subscription model. They have a free plan with limits, and their premium plans unlock more features and resources.
That's a classic software model. Try it out and upgrade as you need more. What about NAN? It's open source, so I'm hoping there's good news for budget-minded folks.
Oh, you won't be disappointed. One of the best things about NAN is that it's free and open source. You download and self-host it for free. They also have a cloud version with more features and support, starting at €20 a month. But that free option is huge for individuals and small teams.
That's awesome. Automation for everyone. Okay, we've covered a lot. Features, deployment, security, pricing. Lots to take in. To make more real, let's talk about what kind of projects each tool is best for.
Love that. Let's get specific. Remember our Bolt.new YouTuber. Quickly building a website. That's where Bolt.new shines. Rapid prototyping, visual design, simple web apps. Need something up and running fast? Bolt.new is your tool.
It's the sprinter of the no-code world. Quick, agile, gets you to the finish line fast. But what if you're not sprinting but running a marathon? Building something complex with a team.
That's Lovable's territory. Imagine a collaborative project management tool. You need a strong backend, smooth redeployment, a way to manage multiple contributors. Lovable was made for that.
It's the marathon runner, steady, reliable, built for the long haul. So we've got the sprinter and the marathon runner. What kind of athlete is an 8N?
Innate is the coach behind the scenes. Not about the outward performance, but the strategy and execution. Think automating marketing, integrating data across platforms, streamlining business stuff. That's NAN's power.
I love these analogies. They really paint a picture. But remember, even the best athletes need the right training, right? Just having the tool doesn't guarantee success.
Absolutely. It's all about understanding what the tool can and can't do and using it strategically to reach your goals.
Exactly. And that's where community support and learning resources come in. Speaking of learning and exploring, we got to acknowledge that no code is constantly changing. What's hot today might be old news tomorrow.
That's what makes it so exciting. No code is dynamic. New tools pop up all the time. Existing tools get new features. The possibilities are endless.
So how can our listeners stay ahead of the game? Make sure they always have the best tools as things change. It seems tough to keep up.
It doesn't have to be overwhelming. It's about embracing that mindset of continuous learning and exploring. Stay curious. Follow no-code blogs, listen to podcasts like this one, join online communities. Immerse yourself in the world of no-code.
Great advice. Surround yourself with that energy and innovation. What else can our listener do to stay ahead?
Don't be afraid to try things out. Free trials, explore different interfaces, see what clicks with your workflow and goals. No-code is all about learning by doing.
Like test driving a car before buying it. Make sure it feels right.
Exactly. And lastly, connect with other no-code people. Online forums, meetups, share your experiences, learn from others. The no-code community is so welcoming and helpful.
There's a real sense of camaraderie, which is awesome. Okay, we've covered a lot in this deep dive. Compared features, explored deployment and scalability, demystified pricing, Even looked at what projects each tool is best for.
We've given our listener a full picture of no-code, empowering them to pick the right tool for their next project.
Exactly. And now, the grand finale. Let's help our listener actually make that decision. If our listener had to choose just one of these to start with, which one would you point them to?
It all depends, right? Their priorities, what they're building. If they're totally new to this, want that instant gratification, something visual, I'd say Bolt.new.
Like testing the no-code waters. Build a simple site or app, get the feel for it without the complexity.
Exactly. But if they're thinking bigger picture, something collaborative, needs a strong backend, something that'll be updated a lot, then Lovable's the way to go.
Lovable's more like diving in, but you've got a life vest. You're ready for the tougher stuff, knowing it can scale and be maintained long-term.
Right on. And if our listener just wants to automate tasks, connect apps, NAN wins, hands down.
Like having a personal assistant for all things automation. You can ditch those tedious tasks, free up time for more creative stuff.
And that free self-hosted option, it makes automation accessible to anyone.
Love that. Okay, so our recommendations. Bolt.new for beginners and quick wins, Lovable for complex team projects, and NAN for the automation folks. But let's be honest, these tools are always changing. How can our listeners stay on top of things, make sure they've got the best tools as the landscape shifts?
Staying ahead in no code means you gotta keep learning and exploring, always. First thing, stay curious. Blogs, podcasts, online communities, immerse yourself in it all to see the new trends.
We'll definitely be doing that here at the podcast of Philip, diving deep into new tools as they come out. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube to stay updated.
Yes. And another thing, don't be afraid to experiment. Free trials, try out different interfaces, see what feels right for your project.
Like test driving a car, right?
Exactly. It's all about hands-on experience in no code. And finally, connect with other no-code people. Share your experiences, ask questions, learn from each other.
The no-code community is so welcoming, it's great.
I totally agree. Now, before we wrap up, one last thought. We've seen how no-code makes software development accessible to everyone, which is amazing.
So empowering. But it makes you wonder, what does this mean for creativity and innovation in the future?
Right. If anyone can build software, will we see this burst of new ideas as the barriers come down? I think we're on the edge of a creative boom, all thanks to no code.
That's exciting to think about. So much potential. So to our listener, we say this: embrace the no-code revolution. Experiment, create, push the limits. The future of innovation is in your hands.
And remember, there's no one right no-code tool. It's about finding the one that fits your needs and vision.
That's all for our deep dive into no-code tools. Hope you enjoyed it and feel inspired to build something amazing. Until next time, keep learning, keep creating, and keep diving deep.